going through an ego smashing sabbatical. We've heard so much about like a girl being a bad thing that we've forgotten the fact that we are girls. You can't think so much. You can't think so much.
Is there anything in your life that still excites you?
You were successful.
Our ego doesn't like to be wrong because we're always right and it knows everything. I learned relatively quickly, or understood relatively quickly what I need to change, and it was terrifying. Kush, it was terrifying.
Leaving something which is performing so well in the worldly terms, even though you're not happy from the inside, but who cares? So are we competitors? Are we niche neighbors? Or are we collaborators?
If you're a competitor, I will fight you. I will kill you. That's war language. That's separation.
I'm taking a few seconds to absorb.
A lot of people in the business world, they come from a place of fear and scarcity and disconnection. The only competition that I have is the person I see in the mirror every day.
I would want to go back and watch my episode again. Awesome! So here we are, breaking our barriers one more time on episode 3 at Break Your Barriers show powered by Linkpreneur. And indeed, today I have someone on the show who I like to call Nat, but of course the world knows as Dr. Natalia Wiechowski, the LinkedIn influencer, the awarded entrepreneur, the women leader, and all of it. But we're not going to talk about this today. We're going to talk about her journey of, in her own words, going through an ego smashing sabbatical. What's that? And how was it for her before and after? So today, and especially to all the women listeners, you want to stay tuned to know her journey, because there are so many questions we put to ourselves which we don't have answers. But today with her on the show, I'm sure you will get to know a few of them by the end of today's episode. So welcome to the show, Doctor.
Thank you so much, Kush. I'm really looking forward to this. Thank you for your time, your space, this opportunity. Let's be edutaining.
Yeah, I think edutaining. Let's be the childish self. Let's be having a lot of fun. And also let's uncover a lot of inner self. So, of course, I'm sure our listeners and our viewers who are watching us through either YouTube or LinkedIn, or maybe listening us on Spotify or Apple, would be wondering, what is this ego smashing sabbatical? And specifically, to vocalize the fact that you had some ego and then, or you had ego and then you went through a journey and then you didn't have it, right? That's what ego smashing in short means. But I really want you to tell us who Dr. Natalia was before this sabbatical, before we even know who you are today.
Absolutely. So I do believe that ego is a good thing, because I think that the universe or a higher intelligence doesn't make any mistakes. So if that source didn't want us to have ego, there would be no ego. So the art of living and being and working lies in having a healthy relationship to the ego, which means the ego is not the enemy. A lot of people say, oh, you need to kill your ego is this terrible institution out there. No, it's about finding a beautiful relationship between the ego and the higher self, or your soul, or however you want to call it. And yeah, so my sabbatical was all about finding that balance. But let's start, as you said, who was Natalia before? Natalia was a successful international entrepreneur. She was a speaker, speaking on stages in front of up to 1,000 people across the world. She won awards. She was featured in Forbes magazine. She was a self-made millionaire. She was a LinkedIn unicorn with over 110,000 followers. And yeah, she was guiding people in helping them get more visibility on LinkedIn, using this tool to social sell, to build a personal brand, to become a thought leader. And it was a lot about how things look like. It was a lot about impressing other people. It was a lot about doing. That was the old Natalia.
Okay. Why did all of this sound not so nice? Because let's just understand, we are working towards getting a life of being awarded, being recognized as a LinkedIn influencer, having 110K followers at just one platform that we're looking at right now. And I know it, how popular she was coming from Dubai and having that turquoise color glasses, that was your branding. So when you just said all of this, it's a dream for a woman out there, for a man out there, but when you're framing it, it didn't feel like you were living your dream. And I really want to dissect that. Like, why did it not feel that way when you were telling or expressing that?
Because I didn't feel anything. I had to shut myself off or cut myself off from my body and emotions in order to perform, in order to be all of that. A part of me thought that this is who I really am and this is what I want to be and achieve. And it was great. I'm very grateful for having all of these experiences. And I realized that all of these things don't help me with feeling more home within my body, with feeling more as if I arrived, with feeling more happy.
I think I would like to ask something. Now that when you say home, when you say happy, there is a word, it's not a buzzword, but it's a goal word. I want to be successful. And what you just mentioned is awarded. And we were just talking about it, that you had a lot of clients. So it's not that the business was suffering, the business was actually flourishing, right, at that time. And at the same time, you were highly recognized in a lot of platforms, right? With all of this, we today in the world are defining this as success.
Absolutely, yes.
Right? So you were successful.
I was successful in the materialistic realm, or in the what I call 3D realm, and it was not a holistic definition of success. It was success in two areas of my life, or maximum two. It was in the area of money and it was in the area of career. But I was not successful in the realm of friendships. I was not successful in the area of spirituality or the universe. I was not successful in the area of my body and health. I was not successful in the area of purpose. So I, by now, feel that unless you look at the wheel of life and you look at all of these different areas of life and you can say, yup, when you don't have that inner balance that only you can decide what feels right to you, you're not really successful. You're blinded by external possessions and the clap and applause of other people.
So for you, what I get is success is not about the money in the bank, is not about the fame in the outside world. Could be the two pillars, but it has 6 of them total, which is health, which is spirituality, which is
relationships, love, friends, your body, sports, purpose, all of these things. Don't get me wrong, money, fame, and this 3D success is important and it's fantastic. And a lot of people believe that once they have that, it will solve all of their problems. It does not. It is just a distraction for a lot of people to do more and achieve more and be more. They're running after something, hoping that at a certain stage they will arrive. They will not, because very often there's also no goal.
I really want to hold that thought, because I want all the readers, listeners, and the viewers out here to reflect on one thing. Maybe you mentioned very subtly, but I am taking away this, and I would love for them to reflect that, are you really living every moment you are in, or actually you are keeping yourself busy to keep yourself distracted of something that is actually occupying your brain, your stability, and because there is no way to come out of it, your only distraction is becoming a workaholic or going after success, which is fame, money in the bank, and fortune, and all of this, because that just seems the easier way route, and that just seems the route which everybody is doing it. So I want you to reflect on it, and I want everyone to think about it. But as a coach yourself, a mentor yourself, who is actually helping people with a holistic transformation, and even from the brand perspective, do you find people going through challenges where they hide away or run away with their real self, because that seems scary, because the outside world just seems okay, yeah, that seems right, okay, that seems easy, let me just go and hit the office rather than talking to myself.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head there. I feel that society gives us a lot of inspiration and guidelines. That's how I call it. And they're sort of like a formula. When you do this and have this and this and this, you should be successful and happy. So I was living that kush. I was ticking all of the boxes and still I didn't feel happy. I mean, on paper, I was happy and successful, but on the inside, I was not. So if what society offers you works for you, fantastic. If it doesn't work, then look inside, feel inside. And what is quite fascinating, and I just recently understood that, is that we, our psyche, our mind, is not as simple as a lot of us think it is. We, within ourselves, have a lot of different personalities, or not personalities, it's more aspects, parts of us, right? You have the artist, you have the entrepreneur, you have the sister, you have maybe the little drama queen within of you, you have the explorer, you have the creator. And all of these parts of you live under this one roof. And finding a peaceful coexistence, finding harmony within that, this is what the journey home or self-love or authenticity is all about. And last point when it comes to this topic, a lot of us were told that certain parts of us are ugly, unlovable.
Absolutely.
Don't show that one. You will end up alone. You will not be successful if you do that, if you show that. So there are parts of us that we're suppressing. And this is when we start to get angry and we start to get depressed and we feel weird and not like ourselves. Why? Because we are hiding certain parts of us. So I'm helping a lot of people look at these parts that they think are ugly or are stupid or silly or unlovable. And we love them. We give them what they need, maybe in a hug or a sentence or an acknowledgement. And once that happens, people feel more whole, and they feel more magnetic, and they attract more clients, and they're shining from the inside, and people are like, wow, I love what you do. What is it? Did you change your diet? Yeah, but also I changed my mindset and the way how I talk to myself. This is what it's about.
I think this reminds me of something which is, don't cry like a girl, or don't behave like a girl, or don't sit like a girl, or don't talk like a girl. You know, and like a girl has become something which is a bad connotation. And we women have started becoming masculine because we've heard so much about like a girl being a bad thing that we've forgotten the fact that we are girls, we are women, we have feminism inside of us. And we cannot be taken from a perspective of that sitting like a girl is a bad thing or crying like a girl is a bad thing. And exactly that got me to the point where we have so many different aspects of inside us. Hey, you're behaving like a child because we have that child inside us,
Exactly.
right?
Or you're behaving like an idiot. We all have an inner idiot.
Correct. And we love to be that person at some point of time, right?
Yeah.
But of course, the world has taught us, the society has taught us to be our best self. And our best self is where the judgmental side, we want to keep it aside, you know.
Under the carpet.
Okay, let me just quickly ask you, since you are actually mentoring people, when people do realize that they are hiding a certain side of themselves because of probably family, because of friends, because of being judged by people they know, they don't know, or because of the social media pressure, what should they do? Is there something that they can really do to keep themselves at sane?
For sure. I mean, a tool that I love to work with, it comes out of therapeutic practices. It's called parts work. So
It's called?
parts work.
Okay.
So you have different parts of you, and it's about integrating these parts.
Right.
So for me, it's a little bit like a meditation or visualization exercise. And it's about having a conscious conversation with that part of you. To give you an example, I had a client, she is brilliant. She is a scientist and an artist.
Right.
And she was very, very creative, but she felt stuck in her business and she regularly almost ran against an emotional wall. And I said, okay, well, let's have a look. So we dig deeper and dig deeper and dig deeper and dig deeper, and we arrived at a part of her that was quote unquote silly. And I said, okay, that's interesting. For me, that feels like a judgment. So let's talk to Silly. And so we had an inner conversation with her inner Silly, and we realized that Silly is not silly at all. That was the judgment from her whole family. Don't be silly. And what came out of it after she cried and breathed through that is that she is super funny. She has an inner clown or an inner comedian, which actually, believe it or not, is her highest gift. So once she embraced that and cuddled that inner silly, that inner comedian, she felt more empowered, she felt more humorous, she started singing and dancing and while brushing her teeth, while doing her work. And she said, Natalia, I don't know what's different, but no matter where I go, people talk to me and I get a project here and I get a project over there and I make new friends in no time. And I said, yes, because you started to love all parts of you, even little Silly.
Talk to your silly. I would just say talk to your silly. We all have that. And I will use the word silly because silly is silly, not something we should be as taught, not something we should present ourselves as, because then we are foolish, then we are not smart enough, then we are not knowledgeable enough. But very, very well said. It's a tag put across to us by people who are probably close to us or someone we trust more than strangers.
And they mean well. Most probably they meant well because they wanted her to be successful in her career, and in her career, you know, it was more a field that was more serious. And I told her, well, in my field, I'm not serious anymore, I'm sincere. And guess what? There are so many comedians out there, they're also not serious. And they're really good in what they do because they are sincere. Seriousness is from the mind. Sincerity is from the heart. And we are ready for a next level of leadership and another way of working together about more collaboration than competition.
I'm going to talk so much about collaboration and competition because we both are on the show and I think this is so much called for. But yes, before I get into competition and collaboration, before even I get to what was the sabbatical and was it even worth it or not, and what were the mistakes that you made in the journey which we can learn from, I want to play a quick game with you.
Sure.
So are you ready?
I'll bring it on.
Okay, so we're going to play a quick game and it's going to be about top of your mind recall. So I'm going to say a word and whatever comes to your mind, the first thing, you're going to say that.
Fair enough.
Okay? Cool, then let's do it. The top of the mind recall. And you can't do cheating.
Okay.
Okay? So first thing that comes to your mind. All right?
Yes.
Let's start with your earring.
Feather.
Not bad. Day.
Day. Night.
Blue.
Yellow.
Love.
A lot.
Passion.
Ooh, hot.
Purpose.
Important.
Money.
Tool.
Focus.
Balance.
Healing.
Aligned.
Productivity.
Overrated.
Health.
Important.
Emotional.
Balance.
People.
Pleasure.
Indonesia.
Food.
Dubai.
Luxury.
Malaysia.
Malaysia. Travel.
How about if I say the word coach?
Coach. Overused.
LinkedIn.
Networking.
And networking.
Connection.
And connection.
Bigger picture.
Success.
Holistic.
Joy.
Fear.
Fear.
Courage.
You can't think so much.
Like courage.
You
Like,
can't think so much. You
let's
can't
see
think
what
so
comes,
much.
what comes.
Okay. Okay, last but not the least, what comes to your mind when I say Dr. Natalia Wiechowski?
Human.
Nice. Awesome. So that's we like giving a little bit of stress.
It's okay. It's like I can relax now.
Okay, so that was amazing. That was good. You did a little bit of thinking in between.
Yeah, it was like blank, pulling in blank. It was like, I see nothing.
But we enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed it. So now that we've got to know a little bit about you from the side of top of the mind recall, I want to go and dissect the side of the sabbatical a little bit. Now, okay, saying that I want to take a sabbatical and actually taking it is a very different thing. Because we have a life to run, we have people to take care, we have bills to pay, right? So one has to be very sure that they actually want a sabbatical and they can really afford it as well, right? So first, my question to you is, what are those red flags that a woman or anyone can really be mindful and aware that they're having in and across in their life on a daily basis, which tells them that they need a break? They need to talk to themselves. They need to connect with their inner self. So if I have to just say, tell me those 3 red flags that we must be mindful about in our daily life that tells us that it's time that we connect to our inner self.
Great question. As you said, a sabbatical is not a must. You can also maybe reduce your working hours, or maybe you can get a nanny, or maybe you can work with a coach. I love the sabbatical concept. That's why I had or gifted myself with a second sabbatical. So, but come to your question of what are the red flags. For me, one of the greatest reality checks is, can you look yourself, or can you look into the mirror, and can you then also look yourself into the eyes? Can you have that moment of truth? Can you stand? Can you hold that? And a lot of people can't. A lot of people, unfortunately, at a certain stage in their life, and that was true for me as well, would avoid mirrors, would never look into the mirror, or would look in the mirror without looking at ourselves. I don't know if you ever did that.
I know that.
It's
I fully know that
feeling. It's just this is definitely, I feel, a few steps over the red line, and unfortunately, a lot of us need to reach there in order to pull the brake,
trigger,
right? Yeah, exactly. So that's one thing. Another thing is there anything in your life that still excites you? Especially those things that excited you in the past. Is it cooking a meal? Is it playing with a puppy? Is it watching your favorite comedian? Is it listening to your favorite song? Is it writing something? Is there still something that basically puts your soul on fire? Or are you already at a stage where everything is like meh, or everything is heavy, or everything feels like a struggle? I don't feel that life, I know that life shouldn't be so hard. It doesn't make sense. And the last thing, the third aspect is, how connected are you to your body? Especially as a woman, I feel our body and our emotions are sacred. They're important, a huge part of who we are. And well, due to various factors, unfortunately, a lot of women that I know, and that was true for me as well, we end up in a situation where we cut ourselves off from our body. So we're numb. We maybe don't allow ourselves to cry anymore, or we don't allow us, again, to fully feel anymore. And we feel disconnected, we feel alien, we feel like a zombie. It's just, everything is so gray and so purposeless, and you feel stuck. It's almost as if you think, what am I doing in this space meat suit? Why am I actually here? So these are 3 red flags, and actually, again, to be radically honest, I think these are, well, maybe you waited a little bit too long when you feel them.
So that means it's all about whether you are able to face yourself, that we do it in the mirror, but we don't see ourselves, but we just see how we look.
Yeah.
And it's also making sure that we feel happy doing something. And if that's not happening, you know that you're not doing something right in your life. And at the end of the day, of course, it's connecting to the body. And I think connecting to our emotions, which we try to switch it off because we're not allowed to. I think it's so beautiful. So to all our readers, of course, please do mindfully take these signals. And if any one of you are going through the signals, right? And sabbatical is not a choice because there are many mothers out here. There are many people who have bills to pay and they're hand to mouth. So they can't be going on a sabbatical because that means that they may not be able to meet the daily life. What's that one solution you would give to them? What should they do? Keeping their routine the same.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's the thing. Not keeping the routine the same.
Okay.
What is one thing that you can do to change? What is that one step, that first step that you can do to work towards a better life? And I don't mean better in the sense of, oh, your life is better than mine, my life is better than yours. You have a different purpose and you are here for a different reason. You're serving individuals in another way. So you have your own journey. I have my own journey. And you are inspired by other women, by other people. Same for me. You have somewhat of a long-term goal. I also have somewhat of a long-term goal. So knowing that and looking at where we are right now, and you always haven't been in the situation, I always haven't been in the situation. If I understood correctly, you were in a dark phase where you didn't like yourself, you didn't like your career, friends, meh, family, meh. I've been there as well. And what did we do? We decided, I don't accept that as my faith. I don't accept that as my reality. So we made a choice. That's the first step, saying no to this pain and this madness that we're in, and then asking for help. It can be a prayer, it can be a friend, it can be a mentor, it can be the universe, could be a higher intelligence, saying, I am ready for help, and then looking, because inspiration is everywhere, especially with social media nowadays and the internet. So be open and see what comes your way, and then be receptive towards embodying that or receiving that. Yeah.
So it's more about first accepting it and then going towards the further journey.
Exactly. Acknowledging it, because a lot of people don't want to acknowledge it because that's painful. Our ego doesn't like to be wrong because we're always right and it knows everything. Yeah, and that's not how life works.
Okay, then. Now, of course, it's accepting it, and you did that in your journey. You first accepted it, and then knowing the fact that you weren't feeling right about your life and probably not being able to see yourself in the mirror, there comes a time where it's like, okay, I need to pull the trigger and I need to hit the pause button, which is the must needed, right? And you were at the peak of your career, like people were celebrating you. You were the influencer and you were the name on LinkedIn and you were talking to every other influencer. How did that feel like? Did that feel like, do you regret doing it? Because that was a different level of fame, and what is now we're going to talk later, but do you feel like, yes, no, how does that feel like?
I mean, I don't regret anything in my life. I've done enough inner work that I'm okay, and I found my peace with everything that I've done or not done. And I would have never become the person that I am today if I didn't go through that experience. So it was part of my journey, and it was exciting for a certain phase of my life until it wasn't exciting. And this is when I realized, instead of being a passive victim, instead of saying, oh, now I'm here and I'm rich and famous and my life is so terrible. Instead of doing that, I realized, okay, well, the only person to blame, if I want to blame somebody, because I start blaming myself, because that's not really lovable or loving, I decided, okay, what can I do to change? And I learned relatively quickly, or understood relatively quickly what I need to change. And it was terrifying. It was terrifying, because it meant that I needed to go into the unknown, and I needed to explore aspects of myself that I have put under the carpet.
Correct. And it's terrifying when you're leaving something which is performing so well in the worldly terms, even though you're not happy from the inside, but who cares, right?
It's the money, it's the fame, it's
correct.
the status.
Absolutely. Till the time you can afford the Ferrari you want in your life, it's good, right? But then you're giving up all of that, and then you're going offline, which we say in the world of influencer, that if you die out for a long period of time and then you come back, it is difficult to revive. And there are times when you feel like, oh shit, and oh damn. But I know that's not something that happened with you, right? But I want to know, while you were taking that sabbatical, leaving all of that behind, for a moment, did you doubt it?
No.
Okay.
I never doubted it.
I was trying to take it out. I mean, if it is like at all possible. But yes, I mean, let's just understand, right? You were so sure that you were so unhappy from inside that you had to do it, right?
Absolutely.
So It's so true, right? Keeping the jokes aside, we might have everything in our life, the right family, the right kids, the right husband, the right partners, the right friends, but still feel lonely. The right money, but still feel empty. We have the right clothes, the right makeup, and right clothing and
And we're
handbags.
invited to the right parties and everything.
But when you get ready, you just don't feel right with anything.
Exactly. There's a bitter aftertaste. There's a subtle misalignment. Your body is closing. You're not opening, saying yes. You're like, oh, I don't want to go. I want to stay at home. I don't want to put on makeup, and I don't know, these conversations with these people are not nourishing. Why am I doing that? Why all of this circus? Why all of this show? When will we finally be honest? When will we be real? When will we put out these masks? When will we smile again and connect and have fun and collaborate? This is what my soul was yearning for.
Wow. I can feel it so deeply, right, when you're even talking, because I was in a space where, walking up on the stage and getting that award and giving a talk to hundreds of people and being invited to all of those things were joys for the day. I mean, okay, yeah, this is great, this is nice, this is what is happening, and I'm enjoying myself and all of it. But
Fabulous.
and I didn't know that I'm going through any transformation. Like, you knew you are feeling something and then you went through sabbatical. For me, I went through transformation, but it was very subconscious. It just happened,
Interesting.
Just life put me on that. And I went through my own spiritual ride and travel experiences, which actually awakened me to a point where today, if I am connecting with 5 people, that makes me feel so much more. I won't say the word happy. It makes me just feel right. It just makes me feel contented. Then to connecting with 500 people in the audience. Yes, if it would make a difference to 500 people, I would do that. But the real joy is not about the quantity, which at some point of time was the factor. How many lives have really felt that deeper impact, have deeper connect, and those bond is what really meant it. So today when you're saying it, I can feel so deeply of the before Dr. Natalia and the after Dr. Natalia. Tell me something, okay? If you had to answer in just 1 minute, how do you make sure that if someone is actually taking a break, is using it well? Because we have got weekends for our breaks, right? In our day-to-day life, correct? And there are 2 ways to go. One, we use it well. The other, we don't. And inside don't, I always say there is 2 things. One, we put us to a podium and say, okay, we have to do this, and then go through guilt of not being able to do it. Or just while it off, like slugging through, like just lying down and not doing anything. It's not even me time, right? It's just waste time. So I want to know if anybody is taking any sort of break in life, as small as weekends or as big as your 9-month sabbatical, how do we make sure that that is actually being used to resolve that inner conflict and not just while off?
Great question. First of all, we need to understand our why or the goal. Why am I doing that? If you don't have clarity in regards to where you're heading towards, it's not going to work. I mean, if I put you on a boat and I don't tell you anything, you'll say, Natalia, what is this all about? Do you want me to go on the other side of the sea? Do you want me to be pretty because somebody's taking pictures? Do you want me to fish? I don't know what I'm doing on this boat. And it's the same thing when we don't understand why we're taking a sabbatical. So get clarity about what it is, and then plan backwards. And if you can't do that on your own, then get some support. So make sure that you have a framework which is not too tight. Like, don't make it like a dress where you're sitting like, I can't breathe in nothing. Really make sure that it works for you and you have the flexibility. And the last point is get an accountability partner. It could be a coach, a mentor, your parents if they're supportive, whoever it is, somebody who regularly checks in with you and says, oh, so how is it? How is it going? Somebody who lovingly challenges you and doesn't say, oh, you're a bad person, or you suck, or you would never do it. No. Somebody who says, I love you so much, I want you to win, and I would do anything to get you there. So lovingly nudging you, this is my job and this is my part of contributing to you becoming more whole. And yeah, if you want to, maybe even sign a memorandum of understanding, both of you.
Wow. And do make sure that the people that we choose, like if they are not mentors and coaches, right? Because sometimes maybe that's not what you're opting for, to make sure the person is not making you feel bad about not being able to keep up with your goals. Because
Absolutely.
I think that just takes you backwards in your
Oh,
journey.
absolutely. Yeah.
Because if we have the right coaches and the right trainers, they just keep us motivating us forward and not just pull us back by making us feel that what we failed at.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, wonderful pointer. Wonderful. I just loved it. Okay, so now let's come to a point where a very important conversation, right? We spoke so much about sabbatical, and I'm going to come back to that. But let's talk right now about one thing, which is competition versus collaboration.
Oh, I
and
love
it is something that I'm sure we both are going to get super excited about it, because as not only being women, but also women in the same industry, there's so much to bring forward in terms of competition and in terms of collaboration that I would love to chat about it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I just recently posted something about it, and that was one of the best performing posts of the month, in which I said the difference between a competitor and a new word that I learned, a niche neighbor.
Which neighbor?
Niche, like your industry, and then you have niche or niche. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I love it. So I don't use the word competitor anymore. I'm like, you're my niche neighbor or my niche neighbor. Hello. Because I don't know about you, but I react different. I have different emotion towards you. If you're my neighbor, I might borrow you some eggs, or I might invite you over for a TV afternoon or whatever when we play a games night. But if you're a competitor, I will fight you. I will kill you. That's war language. That's
Correct.
separation. The other one is collaboration and connection.
So are we competitors? Are we niche neighbors? Or are we collaborators?
We are whatever you wish to be, so choose wisely. Choose wisely.
So I will say, okay, so Dr. Nat comes from Dubai, but also is somebody who has been empowering people to pick LinkedIn as a platform, to choose that as a place to expose yourself. And personally myself, to everyone who knows and who don't know, I am a LinkedIn also someone who has transformed her own life through the platform and now is empowering everybody else on using that as a platform to go out and find your journey, your inner self, and finally the technicalities, the algorithm and the hashtags and all of that. So, but the fact is that I don't feel any sort of collaboration, any sort of competition, but I just feel like you're a friend, and I just feel like I'll be happy to bring numbers in the conversation. I'll be happy to bring my own problems in my business with you, and it just makes me feel so much less lonely, and instead so much more empowered and so much more, I think, confident about what I'm doing. Is I'm even open to bringing you to expose you to the network which I am in, because I know the value you would bring will be so much more amazing, because the people who we are working with is needing something that I'm going to offer, right? And even though we have the same offerings, I know you will do something different and I would do something different, even if it's the same people we are putting ourselves out there. So for me, I have always wanted to have someone on the show who is a woman, who comes from the same industry, who almost does the same thing I do, and really deliver a message that it's been time that please just get above all those competition mindset. It's time that please go out and see in the world that how beautiful it can be when you have people with the same goal, with the same joy, and with the same vision working together. And maybe in different markets, maybe in same market, it really doesn't matter. How do you feel about that?
Absolutely, it's the same. I recently learned or read about a beautiful sentence in the sense of you can't save the world or make the world better on your own. If everybody does a little bit of it, fantastic. Right? So you and I, we have a basic level of trust, and I feel that a lot of people in the business world, they come from a place of fear and scarcity and disconnection. So we have trust, we have connection, I respect you, you respect me, and if there ever was anything where I would feel, oh, there's something slightly off, I would say, Kush, there is this person, I'm not sure, is that more your client or is that somebody who would work with me? I would have that honest conversation with you.
Correct.
Because
And I
there are
think we
enough
have
people out there.
correct. And I think we have that connection. Like we have that we can have that honest conversation, and even to the point where we can open up about our own vulnerability. So I just feel that if we could do it, there are many other out there who could also do it, because it's not just about two people connecting together. I also feel that it's about the mindset that needs to be rewired and not feel that sense of fear in the first place. Which is when you see it from the outside, okay, let me just not go and talk to her because I think it's no point. She's not going to be my potential client and she's instead a competitor and this and that, because I've seen that space people operating from. So one piece of advice, if someone is actually viewing someone as a competition, how should they change their perspective? Because the world is now getting a bigger place to be in.
I think I read a quote, an idea by Gary Vaynerchuk once, who said something along the lines of, there are two ways how you can build the biggest tower in town. Number one is to tear down and destroy the biggest tower. And number two, or option two, is to start building your own tower. And I think this is it. A lot of people, they see these big names or these competitors out there and they think, oh, if I hurt them or make them look stupid, or if I do something cheaper or whatever, it's always an against, an anti-energy. Instead of focusing on the inside and saying, what are my biggest gifts? Where is my area of genius? How can I help other people? And when we do that, if everybody of us would really focus on who we really are, our honest needs and our talents, there would be no competition, because it's like a huge buffet. Like there is an international buffet, and there are starters, main courses, and desserts, and we're all this huge buffet, or we're all an orchestra. But we're comparing apples with main courses, and we're comparing guitars with, I don't know, saxophones. It's just chaos and confusion.
I like that thought, and I really want our viewers to, especially Southeast Asians, because I feel that we've been born up in a way where the society doesn't support that. But I hope that our viewers and listeners out here can go out and call up their competitors and say, let's come out and sit for coffee, let's chat, let's just, yes.
That would be wonderful.
So now, I mean, let's just go back to Dr. Natalia before, right? She was also, what space was she when it came to competitor and stuff?
I had self-worth issues. So certain people that I would be compared to, I would think, oh, she is faster, she's prettier, she's blonder, she makes money, she's da-da-da-da-da, until I realized that's stupid. Why am I putting myself into that place? And then I realized, oh, it's actually not me. It's what other people say about her, and then show that to me, which creates confusion. So next time somebody shows me something, I say, no, thank you. She's gorgeous. She's amazing. She's her. I'm myself. The only competition that I have is the person I see in the mirror every day. So my job is to become one step better than I was yesterday. That's it.
All right, then. Let's talk about a little bit on the healing side of Dr. Natalia. I know because you also help people in that process. But, you know, when it comes to healing, it's the doctors, right, that comes to the mind, which is the medical doctors. But people don't think about the pain which the body faces due to our emotions, due to our mental health, and due to what we have gone through. I want you to reflect on that a little bit.
So the funny thing is that we all forgot how powerful we are, and we love to give our power away to other people, especially doctors. We put them on a pedestal. They're like, oh my God, these doctors out there, they heal. Nothing against doctors. Doctors are fantastic. Every human being who is in their area of expertise and does a good job and wants to help other people, kudos. And I feel that we give away too much of our strength when it comes to our emotional health and physical health.
How do we give up that strength? I mean,
by hoping that when we go somewhere, this person will fix us, or we're taking this pill. So we are trained, or we believe that the problems are on the outside. So somebody will help me on taking this medicine or whatever. And we forgot that our body has incredible healing powers. So by sitting with ourselves, by feeling, by meditating, by moving, by going for a walk, by singing, by dancing, all these are healing effects. What does healing mean? What is quite interesting is that healing and health and whole all these words come from the same origin. And it has something to do with, again, accepting all parts of ourselves, being honest to ourselves, and not resisting whatever wants to express itself through us. So if we looked at our emotions or our feelings as something human and part of us, I can promise you we would have to go less often to a doctor, and we would activate our own self-healing powers, if you want to call it that way.
Okay, someone wants to activate the self-healing power. How?
How? First of all, understanding, do I have the emotional maturity to deal with my feelings? That's a skill. That's like learning how to play football or cooking, and a lot of us never learn that.
Deal with emotions.
Exactly. Can you fully feel sad? Do you feel safe while feeling sad? Do you think that feeling sad is okay? Or do you judge yourself for feeling sad? Do you then feel sad or angry about the fact that you can't feel sad or angry? You know, we're going down the spiral.
Right.
So learning that, again, a capability like anything else,
Right.
with a mentor, online course, school, whatever, do that and your life will radically change. I needed to learn that. I lived 35 plus years without being able to fully feel sadness, self-betrayal, anger, rage. It was like la 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 under the carpet.
So it's more about actually having that ability to allow yourself to be aware that you're wholly feeling what you want to feel, and not
Yes.
judging yourself
Exactly.
for feeling what you're feeling.
Exactly. This is it. It's so simple.
Right. But as we say, easier said than done, right?
Yes.
Okay, now that when we're hitting to the end of the episode, right, I want to just play a devil's advocate here, okay? I mean, everything sounds great, so good, and so dreamy, yeah, okay, nice. Now Dr. Natalia has gone through sabbatical and has gone through this. But what was the most difficult part of this, all of it? I mean, it sounds so rosy, right? 9 months not working, and then being at the top of your career, and then stopping it, and then now coming and being a holistic transformation coach and really bringing that difference. Yes, everything is great, right? But what was the hardest part of the whole thing?
The hardest part was me, myself, and I, because I stood in my own way towards growth because of my mindset, because of my emotional maturity.
Okay, which mindset?
Which mindset? The mindset of I have to do, I have to perform. One of my biggest wrong beliefs and pain scars was that I am only lovable when I perform, when I create, when I deliver. That's why I forced myself to not make money over certain periods, amounts of time, and breathe through that and still feel good and still love myself, because I needed to detach my self-worth from my performance and my money-making skill. I fully believe that I'm only of worth to others when I do. My sheer presence, my am, my being. Owning that, gosh, that was so difficult. I needed months. Yeah.
I'm taking a few seconds to absorb.
Yes.
It's so amazing. I mean, I would want to go back and watch my episode again to just make sure that I'm able to pick everything that you're sharing, because it's one of the biggest barriers that some of us face. And I'm going to tell on the show for the first time, because you inspired me. My one of the biggest belief was, if I don't work hard, I'll not make money.
Exactly.
And I identified this maybe about 4 months ago or 5 months ago. And it was really in a moment. I was not working and I felt terrible, whereas my banks were doing well. And it's like, what's wrong with? And I realized I had seen my father working 9 to 12, which means 9 a.m. to 12 at night. I saw my mom working since morning until night. Even if she was a housewife, I saw both of them making sure, doing everything that needs to be done to get everything that we needed in our life. And that's how middle class life is, right? For most of us.
Yeah.
But I realized that seeing my dad, I've always wanted to be like him. And because I wanted to be like him, I always had that belief that unless I work that shit hard, I will not be able to get where I want to get.
Yeah, and you want to make your daddy proud. That's the most natural thing. Every daddy's girl wants to make daddy proud. So this is our inner people pleaser, and our parents are our first love object. We build a relationship with them. We are dependent on them. Because, I mean, as a baby, again, you need the love, you need the nourishing, you need
I
the
don't
care.
have him with me anymore. I mean, it's been about 17 years. So that increased the urge even more. That since he's not there,
Yeah.
I want to be like him. But I just very lately realized, and it was hard realization, and I'm still realizing it. I'm in the journey. I don't say I'm out of it completely, but I'm still in that journey where I feel that I can make good living for myself and my whole family, and I don't have to work hard to the level where I hit my means I hit my thresholds, right?
Yeah, where you overwork, where you stop listening to your own healthy boundaries. What
Correct.
about working smarter than harder?
Right. Now we have tools we didn't had at that point of time.
Yeah.
I mean, I have realized these things only after realizing my self-limiting beliefs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think I was about to ask you this question because this is like the question of the show, which is, what's that one biggest barrier that you broke?
The biggest barrier that I broke, it was the barrier of, well, it was myself, it was my ego. What is it? It's not so easy to identify. It was a set of barriers that I have put in front of myself. It was not one barrier. It
Let's
was
just
That's
point
it.
it out as a set of barriers, because I want the women to feel that if they have those barriers, then maybe you can inspire them.
Good question. Okay, you know what? That's what I'm going to say. It feels true. My biggest barrier was a whole concept I had around other women. I had so many wrong beliefs and so much mistrust against women, and I didn't accept my own inner feminine, and that was blocking me. So I was very much in my yang energy and a masculine energy of doing and performing, so that everything that was more emotional and flowy and connective, I didn't like it. I judged it, I found it ill, and I had to heal that within myself so I can be more, and I can invite more wonderful women like you into my life. Just 1.5 years ago, I'm not sure if we could have this.
No, we couldn't.
Most probably
Trust me,
not.
we couldn't. Because I knew my energy, and as much as you say, when you try to reach your higher self, you also identify energies of people on the social media platforms, right? And I think we were so much in our own space of our own life that we wouldn't see someone else in that space. And I'm saying that for both of us. It's
Yeah.
not just for
Yeah.
you or for me alone, because it takes two to tango. And I'm glad that you said what you said just now in respect to women as well, because there are a lot of women who are not wanting to be like a girl because they feel it's wrong thing to do, and that ends up probably feeling that it's not right. It's not okay. This woman that woman that, and you just don't like the women energy around you. But to break that would have been a long journey for you, and I want to kudos you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. It was wild, it was painful, it was weird, and I would always do it again, because the person that I became in the process, and through that the life and the business that I have designed, is so fulfilling. Literally, Kush, every woman that I work with right now, she turns into a sister. She turns
Wow.
into family. We feel so connected. We're crying tears of joy and liberation and empowerment. It's just the best.
Sad, but the truth is that the episode is almost coming to an end, and I still have so much that I want to talk to you. But yes, we want to make sure that we give our readers the best within the time we can. I think as I'm hitting to the end of the episode, I really want you to share two things. First, that what's that one liberating belief that you would leave our listeners and viewers as we complete our episode today?
There are two questions that I regularly ask myself, and these questions are game changers. Number one, is that really true? So no matter what happens, say or question it. Is that really true? Or is it just a story of my mind? Or is that something that my mother said? Or is that something that, whatever? And the second one is that mine? Sometimes we have thoughts or emotions, and we realize, oh, that's not mine. Again, that's what my best friend says, or that's what my mentor told me, but it's not mine. So if it's not true and if it's not yours, send it back to the original sender and make a new choice.
Okay, that's so nice. So we'll try to send it back to the original sender. And as I'm going to wrap it up, I want you to do something, which is something we did the last time we met, which was talking to the universe. Would you like to show people how you do that? Because I love it. Yes, please.
I mean, the universe, I see it as a canvas, and I'm the biggest fan of the universe. So literally, I close my eyes and I have my hands on my chest to feel my heartbeat a little bit more. And then I take a deep breath in and out. And I feel my heartbeat. And then I make a wish, whatever that wish may be. And if I can do that, so can you. And you.
Yes. And I have seen her doing it, and trust me, there was something very silly that we tried it for, and it worked. It really worked. It happened. So I'm not going to get into details of it, what it was. That will be a story not to be revealed. Are you ready for the next game?
Oh, you like games. Okay,
Yes,
sure.
I love it. That's in your den. So it's people who's going to get inside your den and know so much about you that they did not know till yet.
Oh.
Yes, we're going to get personal.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you scared?
No.
Okay. Okay. What's the favorite movie that you love?
Alice in Wonderland.
Okay. And the last one you saw on Netflix or on any OTT platform?
I think Dune 2.
Okay. And a podcast that you love listening to?
Dr. Jordan Peterson.
A book that you would give to your friend?
The Cafe at the End of the World.
A beach that you don't like visiting at all?
A beach? No, I like all beaches.
So let's talk about a place that you don't like visiting at all.
A place I don't like visiting. Anything that is too loud, too many people, too many smells. So everything that is overstimulating all of my senses drives me insane. Can't handle that.
Okay. Do you have a dark side?
Of course I have a dark side.
Okay.
We all have.
All right. Tell me about if you had one animal to really compare yourself with or think who you are, then which animal would that be?
It would be a cat.
And if it's a bird?
A bird. A peacock.
Oh, you're almost wearing those colors today. Okay. And finally, most favorite person in the world?
Ooh, is the universe a person?
No. So the answer is not her.
Well, then me, myself, and I.
She's smart. We were hoping for a name. Next time I ask a question, I'll say, you can't be your own answer.
Fair enough.
Okay, so a place that you love visiting the most?
My heart.
Your?
My heart. I love visiting everything that is inside of me, my emotional world and my inner peace.
So guys, you need a vacation next time. You don't need money for that.
Exactly, it's true, it's true.
Finally, I would love for you to tell me how do you want to be remembered in life when you're not there?
As the person who gave people permission slips to be their true selves, if they need a permission slip.
Interesting. Wow, I love it again. It's lovely. So that was In Your Den with Dr. Nat to really know how she thinks, what she does, and what are the things that's happening around her. But indeed, it's super amazing to have you on the show, share everything that you did and all the joy and the fun that you brought in, the child, the emotions, the mental energy, the physical energy, and as well as the comic and the clown side of you, all
There you
of
go.
that. I think I loved each of them. Thank you
Thanks.
so much, Dr. Natalia, to be with us. Where can our people find you?
Definitely on LinkedIn, so I'm still using LinkedIn. I'm not teaching people how to use LinkedIn anymore, and still it's my major platform. And if not, then Instagram.
Damn yes, go follow her, send us her request, and let her know where you found her, right? And we love you. We love you so much. Thank you so much for being with us on the show Break Your Barriers, powered by Linkpreneur Stories. Wrapping up episode 3 with Dr. Natalia Wiechowski. from Dubai and all over the world. That's what I like to call it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.